Alright, I am back on, and for whatever reason, I was thinking about this a lot. How I randomly said that I gave this build a 9 out of 10, but this green one 8.5. I'm changing that whole opinion. I don't know what the hell I was talking about. This one's got to be the 9, and that one has got to be an 8. I don't want to even say an 8.5. This is our first experiment. Obviously, it's not going to be perfect. Anyway, we need to move on. So I need to think about what island I want to do next. Which it will probably be this one here. And what I'm going to do is move the island over a little to the left right here. And I guess we'll do red this time. I don't know what other color to do. And that was just a really easy color palette. So let's go ahead and get into this time lapse. All right, this time lapse is pretty long. This is when I started to do the more really long get to it time lapse segments. And this is actually me from the future. Well, this, even though it doesn't look like it, this video was actually made weeks ago. I realized that a lot of my time lapses are just kind of boring. I hope not. I mean, you are your worst critic, but there are so many moments where I'm just not building anything, sitting there thinking, or just pacing around back and forth. Hopefully that doesn't annoy y'all. Please let me know if it does, because I do try to cut these things out. And if there are different ways to record areas, so the camera isn't always following me and it maybe isn't so disorienting watching it, I'm gonna look up stuff after this, just maybe see if there's a mod that helps me with that. But anyway, to the actual build, I had no idea what I was doing going into this. I have a lot of these comments that I'm saying now afterwards. I started to do this whole review after I fully built the thing, because I didn't want to do a voiceover like I am now. But I just realized how long this voiceover is now that I look back at it. Without a voiceover, it was kind of a snooze fest, I'm gonna be honest. So, I don't want to explain too many of my thoughts because I'm going to go over it afterwards. Maybe for a little bit too long. I'm going to be sitting here talking about it. But this one was probably the most challenging out of any of the buildings that I have made. Because I'm winging this, you know. Of course, if y'all don't know, I wing pretty much everything I'm doing. I have no plan going into it. The plan was changing constantly. I didn't know where it was going. All I knew is that this house was going to be red. That is it. There's no other plan. And I wanted the shape to be a lot more unique. I don't want it to just be some flat piece of land like the first one was. Oh, can we dog on that first house for a minute that I made? I know people were like, I appreciate it in the comments in the last video, but it was not that good. Now that I've gone through and really practiced, it was not good. So I spent a lot more time thinking about furnishing and layouts and stuff here. And it did come out a lot better. I've only been talking for about 3 minutes, so we're not really there to the furnishing part yet, but it is really good. This is just a really long process, and I don't really have anything else to talk about because this is made a while ago, and I can't spoil anything that I'm going to talk about later. So I think that's all I have to say, and I just have fun watching the rest of this, I guess. Towards the end, it gets a lot slower because I'm just sitting there pacing back and forth, figuring out where the hell should I put this chair, or where the hell should I put this painting. It takes me so long and it makes me so frustrated, but we made it in the end. So just watch it all come into shape. I promise you, this looks amazing. Right, I think we are just about done with this. I need to add some few small details, and I'm sure you noticed that this one is by far the longest it has ever taken me to make one of these things. This took an obnoxiously long amount of time, because the mountain idea was interesting, but it just didn't look right at all, so I just kind of gave up on that. I kind of forgot that shingles existed. I actually don't even know how you get these things. I just bought it from the builder. Hopefully no one thinks that's cheating or something. It really isn't. It's just a building block. It's not like it's going to change my gameplay. But I wanted to try shingles. I've never used these before. It came out good enough, I think. And I saw this design here with the A-frame, because shingles don't merge with blocks or pretty much anything. So if you put this space between it and then add support beams, it just makes it look a bit more like it was an intentional thing to do. And I think it came out all right. And I wanted to add a chimney here because I actually added, this is supposed to be a stove. I deadass looked up maybe 15-20 minutes ago, furnishing house Terraria, and then the guy said to make a stove, and I'm not getting what he suggested. I just did this ebon wood dresser, put a bowl on top, chain, and then that's as good as it's gonna get. And I actually made this a little kitchen area, not much of a kitchen, but it's good enough. A bit of a lounge area over here, storage down here, maybe like a guest area down here with plants that everybody can see, and then a little dining table. This is going to be the upstairs bedroom and stuff, and there's attic space here. And I think I am actually happy with this. After all the time I spent on it, and I think I'm done. I really do like the shape. This house looks very unique. There's so many levels to it. And I never would come up with this idea normally to have an actual unique house shape like this, as you may know, because that's just not how I build. But making the mountain idea first already gave me such a weird shape, and I just thought, okay, let's roll with that. And I really, really do like how this came out. Because I really was not happy with the mountain idea because it just didn't look natural. It looked so weird and stupid. So if I'm not happy with the build, I just don't want to play anymore. So I just thought, well, since I'm not happy with it, I'm just gonna get rid of the whole thing and then restart. Obviously, I didn't want to do that, but I kind of needed to because I just wasn't happy with it. So go ahead, got rid of it, did this whole thing, and hooray, we got a good build. Oh, and also the chimney doesn't, stone bricks obviously don't connect with shingles, as you can see, so I did the same thing here. I just put a space between it and then filled it in with stone brick walls, and it came out pretty nice. I gotta say the chimneys in this game are a little bit awkward, because why does it take 3 blocks to put this chimney on top, and the chimney isn't even the same width as the actual structure? That's just really weird. Anyway, I think we are done. Gotta wait for these trees to grow. I'm also missing hanging pots here because I ran out. I've been using too many. And you can only get these things from crates, which is really stupid. And I'm not fishing. Absolutely not. I'm not doing that. So we're just gonna have to live with this for now. I'll destroy some more islands later and probably bring them back here. But all the little tricks I tried, I think ended up working out perfectly here. I really wanted to use these wrought iron fences because these things look really damn good, and then lead fences end up making it a bit too dark. And I like the color palettes that I did with all these. This bottom floor is the darkest floor with the darkest lanterns and the gray back ash wall. That didn't make sense, but the gray background. And then we go up, and then I change the lights to brass, and then the walls are beige, and then yeah. So neat little tricks here and there. This part was a little hard to furnish. I don't know what to do for a living space in Terraria, so this is as good as it's gonna get. Yeah, I painted this red just to fit with the color scheme, and then it fit in pretty well. So I think that is pretty much this island done. This is the biggest one I've done so far, Jesus. I also wanted to do a more unique island shape because everything that I've done was so flat. I think that gives it a lot of life though. So out of all of these builds, I don't know if I said this already, I think I would have to give this one like a 9.5. Because the more I do this, obviously, the more I get familiar with it and it looks like I know what I'm doing. And this one, dude, amazing. I am extremely happy that this came out. This one's gotta be, I honestly might bump my opinion down on this one. It might be like an 8.5, and then this one's gonna be an 8 or a 7.5 because I'm just not as happy with it anymore. Now that I kind of know what I'm doing. And I learned a lot of new tricks from doing this house, so I'm glad I did it, and I think we can move on. But before that, I'm going to take a break from this game. I've been doing this goddamn house for like 3 hours, so I'll cut to when I play again. To be completely honest and say that I'm not entirely liking the look of this tree, even though it is cool, right? It's huge. it just really takes your eyes off of everything else that I've built. And I don't really like that. So I'm thinking about tearing it down, not all in one go, but small bits at a time. I don't think I'll record that because it's just a tree. And after we do all these islands, I have an idea of what I'm going to do next. But I'm not going to spoil that for now. I think we need to move on to this island here. So what I'm going to do is make this one brown themed because that's the last banner color. And I'm going to move it a little bit further down just to give space between this island up here. And then after that, we have this area in the middle. And then I need to tear these two down and then maybe add an island here. And then I think we'll be done for this area. I'll probably come back later and finish these, but I've already done so. That's going to be so many different houses. I don't know what I would even need that for. Ooh, the one thing I forgot to do was to add vines under here. Oof, I almost forgot about that. All right, now I need to just move all this horse shit from up here down below. And we'll go ahead and get to it. And I think I'm done with this. As you can tell, I didn't go very big. The scale is very small compared to these other houses. And with this, I decided to go with a more realistic kind of house. Just your standard one-story, because I felt like I was making everything a bit too extra, making 3-story houses. So with this, I decided to practice my, how do I word this? The tiny details. So I tried to fill up as much space as possible without there actually being anything to fill up that space. This is very small. I'm working with basically nothing. There's barely any room in this house, so I just have to put some stuff down. There's not much really to do. There was also no room for banners, so I couldn't really incorporate that into the build that much. And I love what I did with the patches of grass on the roof that they get lighter towards the center. That looks amazing. I just thought of that idea, and I don't know if I like it. It looks a bit more neat and tidy with it being flat brown with the Legion walls. And if y'all think that looks better, let me know. But I don't know. So y'all just tell me if you think it looks better flat brown or with the grass on the roof and stuff. Either way, I think it looks pretty good to me. Expanding my point on the realism or the realistic style I tried to do here. I wanted it to be like a modern kitchen. You know, they usually have lighter walls. That's it. I say modern, but that's my only detail I added. And then we had the living space here. There's literally just a table. There's already so much happening in such a small space that all I can do is add a table. And then add the little bedroom here. It's kind of weird to have the bedroom at the exit, but I'm not gonna do about that. So bedroom here, absolutely no room to work with. This is all I got. And then a tiny bit of attic space up here, and I don't know what else to add up here. I would put a crate or something, but you can't make crates. You have to fish them or find them on the ocean, and I'm not doing that. I also wanted to try something different with these lampposts, make it feel a bit more modern as well, I guess. Maybe, I don't know. And there's also no other lights that replicate this flat white light. Even these glass lights don't do that, and that's kind of annoying, but there's not really anything I can do about that. Maybe there are some out there, but I really don't know. And I tried to go for a bit more of a unique island shape here. This idea with the tunnel going down the biggest spike to the platforms is really cool to me, but I'd say that's my only complaint about this house though, is that this rope is not well integrated at all. If you look at my other builds, that's often the centerpiece of the house, like here or here. This whole section of this house is dedicated just to this rope area, and this one is very lazily incorporated. And it was very difficult to do so because I'm not working with much. I wanted this house to be very short, because if it was super tall, you would see these platforms here, and then it would make this whole space between these islands feel very cramped. So I just wanted it to be a bit more small. And that might be all I have to say, I think. I decided to add a lot more flower pots as well, just to give more life to the build. And there was also no room to actually add flower pots as a decoration, you know, make it look like these people have some sort of culture with greenhouses or some horseshit like that. Because here I at least dedicated a section to flower pots and added some across the house. And I think for a small house, it did come out pretty good. This one also didn't take nearly as long. Well, it kind of did, I'm gonna be honest. It probably was like under 2 hours. I don't know, I did this in multiple recordings. And I had no idea what to do when I was starting this out. The first couple shapes I did with the house, wrap it up, they were so ugly. I was really running out of ideas. But thankfully we managed to make a decent house, and I think we can move on. So, next, I am going to do this portion here, and then probably clean up this area here. Maybe make an island. If someone says that they're liking this style of Terraria videos I'm doing, then maybe I'll do another island here. And then I'll move on to somewhere else. Probably build here or go ahead and beat the wall of flesh so we can move on. But I think this is getting to be a bit too long, and this is going to be the end of this episode. So, wow, I'm doing an outro. Hooray. But I think that'll be the end of this one. Hopefully you all are liking these builds. Please let me know if you are. And also a reminder, if you think that this roof looks better with or without grass or leaves, let me know. And that'll be it. So thank you for watching.